Hello and welcome to A View from the Stands, the podcast that gives you genuine opinions from real sports fans. I'm James Kelly and I'm here with Ash Quilter.
Hello.
And Colin Weatherall.
Hello.
To kick us off, let's talk about our experiences in sport and our favourite sports moments of all time. So, Connor, what's your favourite moment?
So my favourite sports moment of all time would have to be one I experienced personally. So in the 2015 World Cup, New Zealand All Blacks played France Rugby World Cup. And I think the final score was 63-17. Julian Savia scored a barnstorming hat-trick. Like, the greatest game I've ever experienced live. Watching the Hacker live was brilliant. And obviously, as a lifelong rugby fan, it was just an absolutely amazing experience.
The pubs went balmy as well, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was mental.
Ash, what about you?
Mine's another personal one. It was Liverpool versus Barcelona at Anfield.
Oh, what a
4-0.
game.
Everything about the day was... As a fan, it was perfect.
Did you go?
Yeah, I was in the newsstand, and I've completely forgot the name of it there.
Die hard Liverpool fan, are we?
Always
Die hard.
I was in the main stand for it, but even just going up, like the journey up, and as you're going up the motorway, you can see all the other Liverpool fans, and as you're walking up to the stands, the coaches come in, the flares, and like everybody's drinking. Fireworks going off. It's just something you'll never forget.
I think we can all agree that feeling of being a fan and seeing everyone else and being for that 90 minutes or 80 minutes you're all together. I think there's nothing better.
Yeah, but like even like because I didn't miss the goal, but because it was obviously, as we all know, it was the corner.
Yeah.
And we saw him walk off. I was like, all right, I'll sit. Like, I'll just
It was
get ready to stand up.
It was a moment of brilliance.
As he kicked the ball,
it.
like I was like, wait, what? Like, has that actually just happened? Like, it went mental. I cried. Like, I had tears in my eyes. I was so happy.
What about you, James?
For me, it's got to be the Cricket World Cup. I'm a passionate cricket fan, and England winning that Cricket World Cup, going to that Super Over. Me and my dad behind the sofas, just peering up, thinking, what the hell's going on? No one has a clue what's going on about a Super Over. I'm a cricket fan. I know my sport, but no clue what's happened about a Super Over. I know Chris Gale can knock a few runs in a Super Over in the Caribbean League, but yeah, didn't know what was going on. And then some say it's got a bit of luck, but with Stokes ball towards the end of the innings.
At the end of the day, that's the rules, though, isn't it?
It is. And to be fair, he put his hands up and said, "Get involved." And that's the good thing about cricket as well, is everyone's quite respectful to each other. Yes, there's banter and things for everyone, but it is quite respectful. But yeah, a true moment I'll always remember is that. And we possibly have one this Saturday, don't we?
We'll see what happens. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. I think whoever wins out of us in New Zealand will win. We'll win the World Cup.
100%.
Two of the best teams, surely.
Play South Africa in the final. There's no chance Wales are getting through that.
Well, South Africa played. They played okay, but because they played Japan, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Fair play to Japan, though.
South Africa did their job. Yeah, Japan have teamed the tournament no matter what happens.
Incredible.
Now, so.
Especially for a host as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so VAR, that funny word, has been very controversial recently, especially after the Man United Liverpool game at the weekend. So, guys, do we feel VAR is working? What changes could be made? I've got some opinions, but it'd be good to hear from you. So, Ash.
I think VAR is working, just not in the Premier League.
Okay.
I think the Champions League, it works very well. You rarely look at it happen in the Champions League and go, well, that was definitely not on. I think the problem is with VAR, not VAR itself, but the people in the room.
Okay.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head there, is that it seems to work in the Champions League, but not in the Premier League. And I think the issue with that is because it is still down to personal opinion, and it is still down to the referee's decision at the end of the day. It works brilliantly for offsides. Like, let's be honest.
Yes.
If the one good thing to come out of VAR is that offsides just don't happen anymore.
Exactly.
There is no offside goals. It doesn't happen. But the issue is, when you leave it down to discretion, like at the weekend with United versus Liverpool.
Even with City, because there was a clear penalty in that game.
I don't feel Origi was fouled, but at the end of the day, it's not the first example of someone could have been a foul, could have not been a foul. It's referee's discretion still.
Yeah.
I just think it's got too overcomplicated with it, and obviously the rules changing and stuff like that. It's all become like
it's all happened at once.
It's all too overcomplicated now, and it makes the referee's job a lot harder.
You cannot even celebrate. You score a goal, you can't celebrate.
Oh, it's horrific.
It's just going to go to a VAR review.
Like, I think it does create good moments. So I went to Chelsea versus Chelsea versus Valencia recently.
Okay.
About a month ago, and they got awarded a penalty in the 90th minute. And that moment of VAR, obviously you can't see, you're not allowed to show the replays in the grounds anymore. That moment of, it's going to be a penalty here, it's going to be a penalty, and then they award the penalty was amazing. But at the same time,
you're just going, come on, like.
Yeah, you've got to think when there's a goal and then it's VAR checks. You can't actually celebrate a goal.
No,
it's gonna. Do you know what I mean? It ruins that moment of ecstasy
and long waiting
when
time
you're celebrating a goal, and it's so long. Like I feel in other sports, obviously in rugby and tennis and stuff like that, it's so
constant
black and
communication.
white.
Constant communication.
It's so black and white though. There's not much discretion about it. But I feel with rugby, that's because the rules aren't as complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty black and white in the rules. And in football, they leave too much to the discretion of the referee. So cricket is a great example of that.
Hawkeye.
Very, very rarely in cricket does it get it wrong.
Yeah, spot on about that, yeah.
Tennis, very, very rarely, if ever, does it get it wrong. Rugby, very, very rarely, if ever, does it get it wrong. So that poses the question, why in football is it so wrong every weekend? Every weekend since the start of the season, there has been a decision where people have gone, that's wrong.
I think it's down to the referees. I think after every single game, the referee should do a post-match interview.
Really?
I genuinely think they should.
I think that's a bit unfair.
Unfair?
Yeah.
They should,
Reason
they
being
should
is
have to explain their decisions.
I have done refereeing. I did it for 3.5 years. Yes, it was a younger age level, but I know the stress that goes into pre-game, a match game. And to be fair, yes, this is kids level. This is completely off top of this is kids level. But the amount of stick you get from parents, and okay, yeah, but you've got the media. Look at the media in the same example. If you've got a media in a press conference going forward at the end of a match interview, and then you've got to say, and the referee. I get where you're coming from.
I think if they did interviews, I think referees maybe wouldn't be looked down on as harsh. If they
it'd be worse because you get people like Mike D.
And you can't be biased either.
You get people like Mike D. Who, let's be honest, Mike D. loves the camera.
Did you see the eyes? The eyes
at the end of the eyes the other week. You saw him at the end of last season. Tranmere in the playoffs, and he's there in the crowd. But yeah, being an ultra, ridiculous,
giving it all,
absolutely ridiculous. The role of the referee is to be completely impartial. And again, I'll come back to rugby. Nigel Owens is a great example.
Insane referee
of someone who very rarely gets a decision wrong. So why can't it be the same in football? I don't really understand. But it comes back to. If we look in VAR in football, right, there is multiple different decisions it can decide. So you've got a goal. The role of VAR is to assist the referee to determine whether there was an infringement that means a goal should not be awarded, right? Discretion. Mm-hmm. Penalty decisions. It's the same thing. It's basically posing the question, was there a foul committed?
But even going back to the goal, I think it's not just if you got to think of if you're blocking the keeper, if something happened in the build-up, or if there was a foul. Like, even you can say, like, oh, it's just a goal, but that breaks down into about 3, 4, maybe 5 things that could happen that you have to look out for.
Yeah.
Like, it's just overcomplicated. It should just be, was there an infringement, yes or no?
This is what I mean. And then you've got direct red card incidents, mistaken identity, right? So that's 5 different things that VAR has got to focus on.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas in rugby, there's literally two occasions that TMO gets involved in, right? And that is the scoring of a try whether the grounding of the ball or the build-up to try was there any infringement?
Yeah.
And possible foul play. So we saw it with France when he elbowed the Welsh player in the head, TMO. I mean, that was a moment of madness.
Of course.
With all the cameras nowadays, I don't know why he ever thought.
I can't believe the commentators missed that. Did you watch the game?
Yes.
Commentators missed it. I was there.
I
just went. He just elbowed.
There are a lot of things where you will miss it eventually. And that's why you need
VAR or TMO.
I agree it's needed, but there's something that needs to be done.
I think rugby have it perfect with referees because you can hear them.
Constant communication.
You can constantly hear them. I think you need that in football.
Yes.
It's like you need that in every sport with a referee. You need to be able to.
The cricket have the third umpire, or the fourth umpire in terms of
that they always go to. But like
you hear it around the ground.
In football, you can see what he's doing, but you can't really clock what they're doing. In rugby, you know exactly. You'll bring the players in. You'll hear the conversation. It'll be fine. I think.
On the flip side, if we're talking about as VAR, as in this is their first season of it, so you've got to think they'll go to review, and then they might change it. But my issue in terms of VAR simply is that Yes, but they go off the referee decision. So I know that you said the rugby only get involved in try and foul play, etc. But a lot of pundits have said, sports pundits have said, why not go to the technology? If the referee's missed a blinder or the referee has said something and VAR actually look at it and they've got all the replays, look at how many camera angles the referees have, and they look at it, etc. And the referee then makes a decision, and it's whether it's incorrect or correct. But the VR have all the replays at them. So why don't they then correct the referee, or if the referee's missed something, etc.? Apart from the Champions League, when does the referee go to the TV on the sideline?
I just feel that
World Cup.
I feel it's used
And the World
to,
Cup,
But,
yeah.
but there was issues with the World Cup in the Russia-Spain game. I swear, wasn't there a huge controversy where like Spain should have
I
had a
just
free
feel
kick?
it's interfering too much though.
Yeah,
So
it's changing the game
I
in a bad
feel
way.
they should change it to where in cricket you get 2 reviews, right?
Okay,
Two
yeah, that's a
reviews
good
per
shout.
innings,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So if every single goal has got to be checked, and you'll have that nervous little wait after every single goal, so you can't celebrate properly, then it just kind of ruins the spectacle of the sport. But if we have a review system, because realistically, is there going to be more than 2 occasions in a game where you want to review a decision? I believe for offsides, offsides and red card offences, like off the ball, stuff like that, it should stay how it is.
Okay.
But I feel for goal decisions, and penalties, other red card decisions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel there should be a review system in place where you have, say, 2 or 3 reviews per game. It stops the game slowing down.
Is that per game or per team?
Per team.
Who decides that, the captain or the manager? I said manager.
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 It's got to be the manager.
Yeah.
Because the manager's got the view of the whole pitch.
Yeah.
So I say, yeah, it gets changed to where there is a review system, because I feel then it doesn't slow down the game as much, and we can. It's easier to monitor that, and
a lot of games won't need it as well. Like there are so many games where like, well, there's been no need for the VAR today because it's been a perfectly clean game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
but then when that happens, you don't use
them. But then you have games
on the flip side.
Then you have games like United Liverpool at the weekend where it was needed, and
then goes for a goal as well.
And even though I am a Liverpool fan, the VAR, I don't think it was that bad. I felt like Origi was fouled, but it wasn't enough for a VAR callback.
I don't feel he was fouled at all. I'm
Players
sorry.
There was contact. There was definite contact.
Contact on his right leg, and he went down holding his left.
I haven't seen that, to be fair.
Contact
You
on his
haven't
right
seen it?
leg.
All I've seen is him get caught. I haven't seen any of the reactions.
So
Watch the full replay.
Someone's clipped his toenail, right? Someone's clipped his bloody toenail.
And he's gone down like a sack
And
of
he's
spuds.
gone down like he's been shot, and then he's grabbed his left leg.
But the Mane one was spot on. I
Right,
think.
but I have an issue with this rule
It's the
specifically.
handball rule, isn't it?
If it is handball, every time it touches someone's hand in an attack,
And it might not even be deliberate.
No, but this is what I mean. But
It wasn't in a position where it was obvious he was trying.
You've got to
to
level the playing field here,
Yeah.
right? Because defensively, if someone's in the box and they've got their hands down by their sides and it hits their hand,
Penalty.
it's not a penalty.
No, it isn't.
But if someone is in if an attacker is in the other team's box and it gets crossed in, they've got their hands by their side and it hits their
clicks it.
hands, it's a free kick to the other team.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense at all? In that no matter how it touches an attacker's hand, it is adjudged a foul. But if a defender has his hands by his side, it's not. It makes absolutely no
I
sense.
think in the rules of the game today, they got it spot on, but it's a rule that shouldn't be there.
I mean, you've either got to do it. You've got to do it
You've got
either
to-
way. It's
either
got to
way.
be for every
Everyone.
opportunity. Every time it touches someone's hand, it's the other team's ball. Or you've got to do it where it's hands down by their side, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because if we're going on this season's rules, then France never make the World Cup when they beat Ireland, Euros when they beat Ireland.
Yeah.
Tottenham don't make the Champions League final last year
That was insane.
because of Llorente.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's just got to be that middle ground between whether I just don't understand.
So do you think if UEFA, well, obviously it's Premier League and the FA.
I think Champions League have got it spot on.
So if they implied exactly what Champions League do in terms of the rule, in terms of the TV on the touchline, etc., then
there wouldn't be any issues apart from Villa fans, because apparently the world's against Villa fans.
You know what that comes down to? The referees are better.
Yeah, they are.
In England, our referees nowadays, there's a reason we didn't have a referee at the last World Cup. Not a single English referee at the last World Cup.
Because they're just
because they're not good enough.
they're not
Since
good
Mark Clattenburg left, we haven't had a single good referee.
It's hard because being a referee when I was younger, I was idolising all of these referees. I knew that I couldn't kick a football to save my life, but refereeing was something I was passionate with. So it is a massive shame. It is. But
do you agree that the
with you.
quality of refereeing for the Premier League and down isn't on par?
It is, but it's also young experience. There's a lot of younger referees now getting into the
But
sport.
we're bringing referees over from Australia and
Yeah.
places like that.
Oh yeah,
because,
true. Yeah,
Because there's the referees in this country just aren't good enough anymore.
yeah.
I can't remember his name, but there's a referee recently that's now refereeing in the Championship and League One that we brought over from Australia. It won't be long before
from
he's
the
in the
A-League,
Premier
yeah.
League. Yeah, from the A-League.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It won't be long before he's in the Premier League because he's
No.
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But how come, like the days are gone of your Howard Webbs, your Mark Clattenburgs, who were the best,
But
best
where's
referees in the world?
where's
at
the
time?
discipline? Where's the discipline in terms of the players and the referees? Look at rugby. Rugby have the biggest amount of respect from players and referees. Why isn't football the same?
It's
What's
getting
got
worse,
it's because
what
the play-
rugby or football?
Rugby.
It's
Really?
It's getting worse.
Okay.
But the players,
Talk on the football point.
the players know they can walk all over the referees. Like, how often do you see something given for dissent? Very
That's
rarely.
Oh yeah, that is.
But there's a trial.
Very
For that.
rarely.
There's a trial for that at the moment, isn't there? They're trialing across
Yes,
the country
yeah,
in amateur games and semi-pro games that you can get sin binned for dissent.
And to be fair, I would introduce that.
So you get 5.
I
I
reckon.
think it's 10 minutes off the pitch if you get yellow carded for dissent.
See, I'm both for and against that because if
Okay.
a referee makes a vital decision that's wrong, you're obviously gonna if it is a game, if it impacts the end of the game.
But you have
You're
to give
obviously
respect to the
gonna-
referee. The referee's there to referee the game. He's not biased towards any team. He's there to referee the game. He's there to call it down the line.
I think a lot of Premier League refs have bias.
Really?
I think a fair few.
Okay. Interesting.
I
Like-
think it's really difficult in a sport like that though. That's so obviously it grips the nation. For referees to not have bias, and I think in every single sport a referee has a bias to one team or another.
Yeah, they do.
Because
That's what I mean. I don't think it's a big
whether
bias,
whether
but
it's before the game or during the game, we always talk about when I play rugby, we've got to keep the ref on side. Because
Yeah.
if you start having a go at the ref, you start crowding around the ref, you
he'll
start
just
doing
he'll
this
just
and
go,
that,
well,
he'll just go, well, I'm going to put every decision against you. I'm going to ping you for this, ping you for that.
yeah.
All of it. So, do you know what I mean? You've got to. I think that's the issue. Is that I think what it comes down to is just how competent the refs are in this country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But can we talk about This is absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
Have you heard about the rule of players entering the VAR office?
Oh, go on. Hit me with it.
You heard about this?
No.
Oh,
no.
So-
I think I've heard this.
Do they get red card? Do they get banned or something from games?
Yeah,
So
but
if a player
Where the VAR office is nowhere
enters
near the
VAR
stadium, can we
office,
just
if
say?
a player enters the VAR office, right, he gets a red card and a ban, right?
In the office where no one's being televised.
Right, but the thing is, the nearest ground to the VAR office, I believe, is Stamford Bridge, and it's a
St
30
George's
mile
Park,
drive.
isn't it? Yeah.
so
It's
if
a
you're in
30
Bournemouth, go,
mile
you know what?
drive.
I'm going to complain about this. I'm going to
So
make sure my
now-
point gets heard.
Do you know what I'm thinking, right? If Diego Costa was still at Chelsea, right?
He would, though. He actually
Diego
would.
Costa gets sent off by VAR.
Right, I'm off. I'm off.
Right? Shin pads off, out of the changing room, gets in his car, drives over to the VAR office, runs in and has a go at him and gets sent off again, another ban. That is the only person I could ever imagine doing that. It's a ridiculous rule.
That is insane.
But, right.
There we go. Anyway, let's move on. So, concussion. Now, that is a big topic in terms of
Especially
sport.
after the news in the past week.
Yes. Yes.
So, if you don't know what Ash is referring to, a boxer, 27-year-old boxer by the name of Patrick Day, passed away from severe brain trauma after a fight against Charles Cromwell.
It was a few days after the fight, wasn't it? So he was in hospital.
on the undercard of the Usyk fight.
So, give us a bit of context on that in terms of the fight, rounds, etc. Like, what happened?
So-
I personally didn't watch the fight.
I didn't personally. That's what I was asking.
I only got the news because I was literally just scrolling through it. I was like, wow.
It's just, yeah.
So I don't know when the fight ended, but
Okay.
I know he lost by knockout.
Okay.
In a super welterweight title bout, and I believe he went into a coma, died 4 days later, and this obviously poses the question: is enough being done about brain injuries and concussions and other things like that in sport? and obviously this isn't the first time it's happened.
No, it's
It
not.
seems to be one every 2 years at the moment.
Yeah.
Of box maybe once
It's not
a
the
year.
first this year, is it? I swear.
I
It's,
don't know, but it seems to be quite frequent that boxers die in a fight or go into a coma, or it's
have life-threatening injuries. After
Exactly.
It,
You
like,
look at other sports as well. Rugby, American football.
rugby.
Massive one.
The World Cup this year has been literally, I don't want to say marred. It's probably not the right word, but with tackle height. So obviously the rule change last year was that you had to, or maybe 2 years ago, was that you had to tackle below the shoulders.
Yeah.
Below the shoulders.
Yeah.
Previously, it was below the neck. Now it's below the shoulders just to prevent head clashes. And obviously there's been multiple red cards. Piers Francis, great example for England, got a red card for a tackle, but the player ducked into it. So obviously that's another rule change that's a bit, but somewhat being someone that's suffered with concussions myself a couple of times, we're not going to prevent them. We're not going to prevent them.
You can't in a sport like that. You can't completely
I've had 2 concussions, and the first time it was I tackled someone, got really low, they kneed me in the head, concussion. The second time I got kicked in the head by accident when in a ruck. You can't prevent that. So I understand changing the tackle height, and they're even contemplating changing the tackle height to below the waist, which I think is ridiculous because there's no way I'm getting that low. But I don't think we're going to change it that much in a sport like this, and I think it might end up getting to the point where rugby's played in pads and helmets like American football.
Yeah.
Well, even you said there,
But even
it
in
isn't
American
an
football-
issue with tackle height because the 2 that you've had.
I mean,
anything-
there is
What
definitely
yours
concussions
weren't, were
due
they?
to
So,
tackle
like-
height, but my personal ones weren't.
Right, so like it's still going to be in the game
Oh, it's going to happen.
No
It's
matter
always going
what,
to happen. But
because
then,
it's most of the time it's just a freak accident.
so in the NFL last year,
Yep.
out of 1,675 players, there were 214 concussions.
That's insane. That is an insane.
So you
stat.
think that's what, like 8%?
Exactly.
Around 10% of
so
players
much.
got concussions, and this is with their massive helmets on and
I
their
know.
pads.
And the pads as well.
They've changed. They've banned helmets this year. There was a massive story about Tom Brady and Antonio Brown, how
Yeah.
their helmets got banned,
Exactly.
and they had to wear new helmets. And Tom Brady's been wearing this helmet since the 2000s. Obviously, he's been around the NFL forever. And how they're changing helmets and they're trying to get these safety measures. But you are never going to stop concussions in sports like this. I just think that at no point will we get to a point where there are no more concussions. And I've got a little timeline here, so these is like important dates for the battle against concussion, and it goes back to 2002. So Dr. Bennett Omalu, a forensic pathologist, they did the film on him with Will Smith.
Okay.
He was the first person to identify chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is also known as CTE.
It's the easiest way of saying it.
Yes, CTE. In the brain of former Pittsburgh Steelers center Mike Webster, who committed suicide. And it's the majority of players who played in the NFL pre-2000, even now, end up with CTE. And there's loads here. He identified it in the brains of 2 more former Pittsburgh Steelers players, Terry Long and Andre Waters. Both had committed suicide. Roger Goodell, for the NFL commissioner, said that the rules changed. He changed the rules to, if you put a player in jeopardy of concussion, etc., you will get a ban, which happened to Vontaze Burfict of the Oakland Raiders this year. He's been banned for the season for that. So this is one that really...
So it seems like they're being strict on it as well. Then they're making
They're
sure.
being strict, but this happened 10 years ago.
Wow.
This all
So it's
happened
taken
10 years ago, and Vontaze Burfict got banned this year. So clearly, it's not...
ongoing case.
Yeah, so this is
Mental.
this is one that really hits me, is that a former Chicago Bears cornerback, Dave Duerson, committed suicide but shot himself in the chest so that they could scan his brain and do work on his brain. Because these brain injuries and stuff like that, they affect you, and they change how you think, and they change. Obviously, depression's a chemical imbalance in the brain. So if your brain is battered, and do you know what I mean? It's
It's more
risk
than
in
likely.
these
it's a
sports.
massive issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't know. I just think there's something more needs to be done, but at the same time, I don't know what more we
Exactly.
can do.
It's such a hard.
Because it's something that'll always be there.
Yeah, and that is the
It's-
truth about it.
When
sad truth about it.
when you're part of a contact sport, it's an injury that's gonna
Okay.
occur.
I think there is measures being taken. The RFU have got a system where you need to take, I believe, 3 weeks off before you can play another game.
Okay.
But that is
Should
not
that be
being
more?
no, it's just not being adhered to
Okay.
at all. So I know personally, both times I've been concussed, I played the next week.
Wow.
I hadn't told my coach that it happened. Teammates knew, but this is why when that stat of 214 concussions in the NFL, I don't believe that to be true. I would
believe it's
personally
higher.
believe there was a lot more than that.
They're just the ones that have been documented.
Because the thing it's so I've got the stats from 2012. So it's 261 in 2012, 229 in 2013, 206 2014,
Wow.
275 in 2015.
That's a massive increase.
243 in 2016, 281 in 2017,
81.
and in 2018 it was 214. What I notice here is that it seems the years where there's a lot of concussions, the next year there's not as many.
yeah,
And what that tells me
it's
is
like they bring it up and then just let it go. And then
Exactly.
what it tells me is because of the amount of concussions that happen. So say in 2017 there was 283. I remember hearing that stat. It was all over the news that this many concussions, like 10% of players get a concussion. So I reckon the year after that the players weren't telling their coaches. I think they were getting concussed and they weren't telling their
Interesting.
coaches because then you're out for 3 weeks.
And they're so
like
passionate
that,
about the sport.
in a sport like that as well, where you can get cut like that. If
Yeah.
you're out for 3 weeks, you can get cut.
and easily not come back.
You're just
Oh, the
gone.
competition in the squad you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, exactly. So say you got picked in the 7th round. You've
Yes.
only just made the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
And you get a concussion, right?
Straight away, then you won't come back.
If you're out for 3 weeks, they will cut you and they will bring someone in who can do the same job.
Yeah,
That's what that sport
that's
is
how
like.
ruthless it is. Like,
It is.
It's even worse in American college football. So I don't know if you watched the documentary Last Chance U.
No, but I do need to.
So it's about junior college, which is a 2-year college before they go to the big 4-year colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a player in that. There's two occasions of this. So you've got Isaiah Wright in the 1st and 2nd season. He got concussed on multiple occasions, but because they are competing to go to the bigger colleges, and if they miss game time and don't have game film, they're not gonna want to miss it. So he made out he wasn't concussed, came back, got concussed again, missed the rest of the season. Probably the most talented player on any season of that show, but he went to a D2 school.
Wow.
And then, he went to prison. But
Different story.
there's that, and then you've got another one called Marquise King, who he got concussed. He was literally out cold. He couldn't speak. He was concussed, but he carried on playing, and just didn't tell them. And I just feel that is the main issue here, in that they are doing loads to sort it out, and they are trying hard to, stop concussions. But if the players aren't going to help, then it's going to be a major issue.
See, I think because of that, the coaches and the medical staff have to take the stand and be like, look, even though you feel like you're completely fine, we've got to do some sort of evaluation.
Well, that's the thing though, in that the concussion testing isn't as good as it should be either, because there's no actual test for a concussion.
Yeah.
You get asked memory questions and stuff like that, like what day is it, what's your birthday, what's your name, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's no actual form of testing for concussions. There's literally memory questions. So I have a pretty bad memory, to be honest, but I'm gonna know my name.
Yeah.
So when I get asked, when I hit my head, one of the times when I got concussed, I got asked my name, my birthday, what day it is. Luckily, I didn't know what day it was, so I got taken off. I wasn't allowed to play anymore. But I was fully prepared in that moment to carry on playing.
Yeah.
It's the passion you have for the
When
sport.
the adrenaline's rushing and when it's a big game,
You just wanna go back out
You're
there
not
and
going
win
to
it.
stop playing.
Yeah.
You're just not. I just think, it's a massive issue.
It is.
Something really needs to be done about it.
So let's talk cricket. So in terms of the concussions, the Ashes this year had a numerous amount of issues in terms of high bowling, fast bowling, in terms of over shoulder height. Now in the cricket
Jofra
rules,
Archer
exactly.
specifically.
Now, don't get me wrong, fantastic bowling, but if we're talking about concussion and what we previously have said, does something need to change about that? Are we getting too dangerous in terms of, like, you're throwing a ball at nearly 90, 100 miles per hour?
Is it every single ball, though? Like, is it every single
They have
time he
wides and
throws
stuff
it?
that umpires have, but they actually let, if it's a above shoulder height and it's a good ball, then they'll let it. So you're saying that...
Again, does it
No,
not? Would this not come down to headgear? So, like in the NFL, that, like I said earlier, they've been changing helmets and stuff like that. Obviously, with Steve Smith getting knocked out, would this not come down to headgear?
Obviously,
we have
they
they
have to change the headgear.
They had
anyway,
the change in the
as soon as they hit
headgear
it.
a few years ago after that player died after getting it in the neck. Philip Hughes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we now going to have to change the grates? They're going to have different grates to cover the whole face, and maybe a visor or
They
something.
have to, but you've got to think about it. I don't know if you guys are probably aware, you probably are, but in terms of when you've been hit in the helmet, you have to change your helmet.
Yeah.
But if they're doing, say, full days, 5 days of Ashes cricket, and you're having these amount of high balls as competitive balls, like Jofra Archer and Mitchell Starc for Australia, how do you change this? There's got to be some sort of...
It's just got to come down to headgear, hasn't it? Because at the end of the day, either that or you remove the bouncer. I guess.
Yeah,
I guess
move the
that's
bouncing ball.
that's remove the bouncer. You can't bowl like that. Is the only way to
Yeah.
do it. But then that eliminates a lot of different bowlers from all levels of the sport.
That's the so there is an edge with it. So concussion, to go as almost a recap, if you like, they are doing well at the moment, but there's obviously still areas of definite improvement, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
And also,
that's the same
it's
in
something
every
you
single
can't-
Sport.
Yeah,
There's
I
always,
think-
Well, yeah.
there's always things to be improved
I think-
to make sure that everybody feels make sure everybody's safe and no one's getting ridiculously like.
I think as a final point on that, you're right. We're doing the best we can, but there's still more that needs to be done to eliminate concussion in sport.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So final topic, Connor. This is something you are really passionate about.
He's gonna love
So yeah, here with us. What we got?
Right, so I chose this topic because it's something that really bugs me. It's my biggest hate in sport, and that is, as a country, or as Great Britain, we seem to absolutely love celebrating mediocrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, say, for example, Wales is probably one of the best examples. When they got to the semi-final of the Euros and got knocked out by Croatia, was it?
Yeah.
Right? They acted like they'd won it. They had an open-top bus parade for getting to the semi-final of the Euros. They didn't even win it. They didn't win it, and they had an open-top bus parade. It's quite frankly, it's ridiculous. Silver medals, bronze medals. I don't see the point.
But could that be the biggest world achievement? Probably not. I don't know. But could that be, and on the counter fact, could that be the biggest Wales achievement that has happened over the last few
Well, yeah,
years?
but you need to use it more as like an inspiration to do better. And I go, yeah, we did well. We don't need to do better.
It just really winds me up because it's gold or go home. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
it's gold or go home. Tom Daley is one of our most celebrated Olympians of the last couple of decades. He's only ever got a bronze. He's won 2 bronzes, and he's like one of our most celebrated Olympians. It's ridiculous. Like I cannot stand it. I just think as a country we do it. England, we beat Panama 6-1, and we're singing "It's Coming Home."
That's smart,
Panama,
though.
Panama's got it's one of the tiniest countries in the World Cup, and we beat them 6-1, and we're acting like it's coming home.
We shouldn't have
Absolutely
conceded.
ridiculous. No, this is what I mean.
You need to be like putting like minimum 10 past countries.
Panama
like that.
scored their first ever World Cup goal against us, and that says all we need to know. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
But on the flip side, if you look at it, we knocked 6 goals past them. That's 3 points, right? In the qualifiers, wasn't it?
No, that was in the
No,
group
it's in the group
stages.
It's the
stages.
group
This is the group
stages.
stages.
But it's still winning. It doesn't matter in terms of how. Well, look at managers. Look how managers feel about the game.
Yeah, I
if
mean-
they win the game, they win the game.
Yeah,
It's
but
3
you
points.
It's a
even
great
look
win,
at the
don't
England
get me
squad with
wrong.
that, because you look at Kieran Trippier, in my opinion, one of the worst England defenders we've had for a while. Everybody completely overhyped him because he scored a free kick.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is with that, I get it. It was a great win. Don't get me wrong. But we love to hype our teams up, and we love to celebrate any bit of mediocrity we can. So it's just on every single opportunity.
Look at the Premier League, for example. When you get relegated, you get 100 million kitty. Why has a team that have done the worst in the league got that much money?
Okay, that I think I agree with. Look at the.
Why do you get more money from getting relegated from the Premier League than you do from getting mid-table?
Here we go. So,
You've got a bit of research. Here we go, guys.
When Wales got knocked out by Portugal, right? So they lost 2-0 to Portugal. First good team they'd played, right? And they had an open-top bus tour and a public celebration event at Cardiff City Stadium, right? 33,000 people went to watch a bunch of 25 losers. 33,000
I mean, when you put it like
people-
that, it sounds really sad.
33,000 people went and celebrated a 2-0 loss to Portugal. It's absolutely ridiculous. We get these home...
Yeah, but there's a good chance there was at least 10,000 England fans laughing at him.
Another thing, like with Tom Daly, when he won his bronze, he was celebrating in the pool like he'd won it. No one, when they're growing up, goes, you know what?
I want to win bronze.
I'd love an Olympic bronze. Absolutely love an Olympic bronze. It's ridiculous.
But to some people, to get the opportunity to even compete at the Olympics and then let it go and get third when you've got all these other...
Okay,
right?
But there's a difference between personal achievements and the entire country celebrating that, like, a player...
Could the entire country be sympathetic towards the personal achievement? No?
But there's different levels though, isn't there? Quite frankly, Tom Daly, there's no reason why he couldn't have won a gold.
Okay.
Right? There's no reason why he couldn't have
He's got the ability.
won a gold. Eddie the Eagle Edwards is one of, for me, his gold medal was getting to the Olympics, right? Because he had no funding, he did it all himself, everything like that. But Tom Daly is on a level playing field, if not a better playing field than pretty much everyone else. And I just don't see, same with Wales. They're just as big a country as Croatia and stuff like that. They've got similar populations to countries who have done just as well.
And the Wales team itself, they don't have that many bad players. Like, the ability they have, like in terms of individual ability, they could go on and try and win that competition.
Exactly, and this is what's going to get me. If England lose to New Zealand on Saturday, it'll all be, we had a good run, we came up against the best team in the competition. No.
You've got to be beating the best team.
At the end of the day, if we want to be where we want to be, then Eddie Jones has got to lead us to glory. We can't be that team of, we got the third place playoff. That's another thing. Third place playoff games.
It means nothing.
Third, what is the point?
Just
right?
whack the kids out for
We
that,
don't
like.
do it. We don't do a 6th and 7th place playoff, do we? So why do we do a third and 4th place playoff? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Who did we play in the third playoff? England.
Belgium.
That was
Belgium.
it.
They beat us like 3-1, wasn't it?
Yep.
Was that what competition was that? Oh, that was the
World Cup.
No, that was the new Nations League.
Well, we've had 2 third place playoffs in the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've lost both of them.
And yet people are calling this one of the best England teams. Like, really? Like,
no, it's ridiculous. Wait, did we win the third place? Yeah, we did. We won the Nations League one, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
But who wants a bronze medal? It's like Phil Neville, wasn't it? Said after the Women's World Cup when England won the bronze there, who wants a bronze medal? And he got loads of stick for it in the media.
Right, though, you have to be competitive. You're in this sport to be competitive and to win.
I just can't ever get around my head people who like said Tim Henman, right? Never won a Grand Slam. He's got a bloody hill though, hasn't he? Never won a Grand Slam, but he's got a hill.
Henman Hill.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is probably the prime example in this country of how we celebrate like sporting achievements that aren't actually achievements.
Well, yeah, like, look, England, like, it was was it the Ashes?
Yep.
Well, they came back for it, yeah, but...
Oh, what, Stokes and Leach?
Yeah.
Well, Jack Leach is a hero anyway, I don't care, what a bloke. But that comeback was brilliant at the time, but then we were acting like we'd won the bloody Ashes just by surviving that extra test.
Yeah, like...
And then we went on to lose it in the next test.
Well, yeah. It gave us the opportunity to have a chance at winning. But
there's a difference between celebrating individual performances.
He's
and then
face palm in the studio. He cannot believe it.
There's a difference between like celebrating that individual performance and then going, but the England team did well. It wasn't the England team. It was those 2 people.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that we were
team,
in that
though, isn't it?
position,
But it wasn't the team that did that because the rest of the team.
Everyone's got to do their job. Jack Leach's got to stay in that bottom. Stay.
Yeah,
at
no,
number 11.
but the rest of the team got out. They lost.
Between Leachy and Stokes, they did an absolutely brilliant job, but everyone else was absolutely shite.
Fair point. Fair enough. Okay.
I just can't get my head around people who go into sports and they're quite happy coming 3rd or 4th. Like, I really can't understand it. It's the same in football. But we got top 4 though, didn't we? Who cares? You've got top 4. You've got Champions League football. Are you going
to win that? Like,
most likely, your Arsenal's, your Tottenham, stuff like that. Most likely, you're going to go into it, and you're not going to win it. You might get a decent little run and do nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's just stupid. I can't think of anything worse than being in that situation and being happy with coming third or fourth.
Because at the end of the day, you lost. If you're not winning, you're losing.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Like, it's that simple.
It's ridiculous. If I ever won a silver medal, I don't know where it'd be.
Well,
tell
no,
you now.
that's a good point. You bring that up. Champions League finals or FA Cup finals, you take the silver medal. Players sometimes just put it straight in the pocket. Yeah,
you get a runner-up medal from that. I'll give it away.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
A lot of the players don't even want it.
Well, it'd be heartbreaking. Like, you got all that way and go, by the way, you've
got a reward.
Okay, so this is... I get where you're coming from. Let's talk on a smaller basis. Say you've got a club like... I'm trying to think. Player final's the best example. You have player final, championship, the pressure's on, money's on in terms of the Sky funding that happens to these clubs. You got to play a final and you lose.
What, to get into the Prem?
To try get in the Prem.
Then you go, wow, we need to do better. We lost.
But that's...
But
I think that
what
is
if
one of
that's
the-
their first playoff final in 10 years? How would you combat
I think that is one of the only occasions where you lose a final and people actually don't see any positive from it. I think that is one of the only occasions. If you lose a playoff final, you don't see any positive from it.
No, because you could very easily not be in that position next year. For example, the Championship's so competitive.
It is so competitive.
Like,
Leeds should have won the league at least 4 years in a row now.
Leeds should have won the league every year since they've gone down.
Exactly.
But no, I get what you mean. But let's say Watford in the FA Cup last year, right? A lot of fans celebrated that, and I don't understand why. Because at the end of the day, there was no reason why on any given day they couldn't beat Man City.
It's a big achievement for them.
There's
They made
no
the final.
reason why on any... Yeah, but is it?
As a Premier
Is
League
it
team,
like-
for a Premier League team,
You're telling me Watford could have beaten
Every
Man City
sing-
on that day?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Norwich could. Norwich did it.
Wolves beat them
I
the
get
other
that.
week. Why couldn't Watford?
Every single Premier League team, the best league in England, has to go into every single game thinking we need to be winning this.
When Bradford...
Simple.
When
Bradford beat
played,
Chelsea.
No, when Bradford
Oh.
played Swansea in the League
Oh,
Cup final,
yes,
what,
yeah.
2013?
Yeah, it's going back now.
2012,
Going back now,
2013,
yeah.
Michu scored 3. Why couldn't they have won
Michu, what a
that?
player.
Why couldn't they have won that?
Yeah.
At the
They
end of the
beat
day-
harder teams to get to the final.
At the end of the day, this is why I like sports like boxing,
Okay.
right? You don't, if you lose a boxing match, you don't go, oh, well, I did all right though, didn't I? You go, I've lost. If Tyson Fury loses, when he finally gets a rematch against Wilder, if he loses, there's no way he's going to go, oh, well, I did
You know,
all
I
right
put up
though,
a good
didn't I?
fight. You didn't put up a good fight. You lost.
No, exactly. There's no way that's going to happen. So I just think it's a level playing field. It really is. And for people to celebrate mediocrity like we do in this country on a regular basis, I can't deal with it.
Any major competition or league, if a team has got to that point, they have to go into every single thing going, we need to win this because we're just as good as A, B, C or D because we're in the same position. Which is why I don't get, like, say for example, when Liverpool beat Porto, they were
Yep.
like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
only Porto. Yeah, but we both got to the quarterfinals. Like,
Yeah,
we're both in
exactly.
the same thing. Like,
This is what I mean. Sport just frustrates me in so many different ways.
But we
when
love it at
comes
the
to
same
this
time.
subject. But at the end of the day, we all do love sport. But
Oh,
please stop celebrating mediocrity. I've had enough of it. For anyone listening, if you win a silver medal or your team comes second in the league, don't celebrate it.
just say, it's all right, but let's do better.
Absolute mug.
So if Connor becomes Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, in the next few years, his message to the people would be,
Burn all silver
Please,
medals. That shouldn't be a thing.
Oh, well,
Gold will go
If
home.
I was the Queen, I wouldn't have given Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate MBEs for getting to the bloody semi-final of the Euros.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, guys, it's been quite a hefty podcast, if you like, in terms of discussing lots of things. Talked about VAR, concussion, and then also mediocrity at the same time.
Overall, it's been a bit of a negative podcast.
Oh, it's
We've been complaining about
negative,
VAR.
But at the same time, what we've got to remember is on Saturday, England are going to beat the All Blacks.
And then we're
We're
going
going to go on to win the World Cup. And that's all
And
that matters.
then we can celebrate mediocrity.
Yep, if we come second, I'm emigrating.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, so thank you all for listening.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Catch you next time.